Okay, so we shall continue with data frames. We had covered some part of it in the previous session. We shall continue from where we left yesterday. So I'll come back to my PyCharm, and I believe we had looked at up till drop, right? So how do we drop a particular column when we specify axis as 1 and in place is true, meaning that deleted from actual data frame, right? So that is what we had looked at uh, in the previous session. So now let's continue with the rest of the remaining concepts of data frame. So just allow me a minute, please. Okay, so all this code is already checked in. I'll create a new copy of this file. Rows meaning that we are going to discuss the concept of rows. Okay, so this is a simple data frame, as you will see, with some rows and some columns, and rand uh, n 5 by 4 means 5 rows and 4 columns, right? So let me first of all display this for you and see what is the output we will get. So right click, run. So we get this output as 5 rows and 4 columns. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and display entry or a row from this particular data frame which I have got. So here there is a method called LOC. In the bracket you can specify, for example, R1, right? So if you do it like this, you will let's see what do we get. I'll run this, and this is the record I get, right? So by default it is specifying which row I had retrieved and the data type. If you want, you can as well display this value also, that what is the type of this data, for example. So whatever the result is coming out from here, right click and I'll say run. So you can see this is a series of the data frame, or the series which we studied earlier, one dimensional, right? So this is when when we make use of the row as an argument to LOC with single quotes, right? There is yet another way which you can make use of. So if you will go here, there is a method called ilog. I is basically index, so you can make it 0 1. So let me make it 0 for the time being, and if I try to run this program, run, so you will see that okay, I have displayed a type here. For the time being, I don't want to see the type I already know. So if I run this program, right click, run, you will see that I have got that row, the 0th row, using this particular output, sorry, this particular output which I'm trying to display. Okay, so can you please try this program? Okay, so this is how we retrieve a particular row. Now we have seen how to retrieve columns, how to retrieve rows. What if you want to retrieve rows as well as columns, right? So we look at this program. For that I'll make it 2 here. Okay, so this is basically the data frame we have. I will just create a print line as a separator. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to say lock we already know, right? With a lock we specify a particular uh, what you say, a row. Just now we saw, so I can say print of df 3 dot loc open bracket close bracket, and here I'll specify a row 1 and maybe column 1, right? So what this will do, this will do me give me an intersection of row 1 and column 1, or an individual cell from that particular data frame which I have. So let me go ahead and just let me make it like this. So just 1 minute, so that this is more readable. So I'll make it df here, and I will make it print, sorry, not like this. Okay, I will make it like this. Okay, so if I try to display this value, let's see what comes out of this. So right click and run. So as you can see, this is row 1 column 1, right? So it gives me the number to a greater precision because it's a floating point number, right? Now what if I have to retrieve few rows and few columns, right? So in that case what I will do is I'll copy and paste this again here, and I'm going to say uh, I have to put a list here, right? So one more bracket goes here like this, okay, and then comma, okay. So I'll say from R1 to R2 and C1, C1 comma C2, right? So it will fetch me two rows and two columns, which is R1, R2, C1, C2. So wherever is there is intersection of this, so basically what is meant by that, it will fetch me this much record, right? This R1, R2 and then C1 entry corresponding to the intersection with R1, R2 and similarly for C2, right? So let me try to run this program and see what is the output I get. So first of all, I'll take this and I'll put it here, right? So let's run this program. So you will see that I have got that row and column both specified here, right? So you can as well have maybe if you want to have R3 for example as well. So now you'll have three rows and maybe two columns, as you can see from this output, right? So please try out this program. Okay, so having looked at this concept, let's move on to selection. So a part of it we have already done. I mean, in this case I'm not going to type all of the code, but a lot of it is already done. So I'll let you try it with the I'll explain code, and then I'll let you try it. Okay, so we have a data frame here, right? So let's first of all go ahead and create the data frame. So I have the data frame here, right? And I am going to display that for you. So I'll say data frame EF3, right? So I get the output. Now this we have already seen. You are accessing the column 1, right? So I will copy and paste it here. So this we already know. This is I'm displaying column 1 of data frame 3. So I'll remove this from here, right? This we have already seen. Uh, so now what if you say that data frame uh, C1 where entries are greater than 0, right? So we end up getting a value as true. So this is also something we have seen. So I'll just put it here. I'm doing this so that the code becomes more readable, right? And then I will go ahead and display this value for you. So we get to see that, right? So greater than 0 we have already seen. Now if you take that greater than 0 true false and pass it into the data frame, it will give you the corresponding entries from the data frame, right? Yeah, so all that put together is like this. This is something we have already seen. So let me quickly run this program and show to you. So if you run this, you will see that for this entry, uh, where is this greater than 0? Where is that? Okay, let's go one by one. Data frame you got, then that column 1 from data frame, and then greater than 0 you got, right? So up till here greater than 0 we got. Now you pass that to the data frame, right? And these are the corresponding output which we get, right? Now similarly, if you combine it in a single statement, we get entries like this, and then in later on you can fetch C1, C2, or you can put more than one together and fetch the entries, right? So basically these are things we had already seen earlier also. I mean, this is nothing new. I'm not telling anything new basically in this particular program. So if you want, you can try this program. So so what I'm doing is now in this it is fetching me some record. Okay, this is fetching me record based upon this condition, and from there I'm retrieving C1 and C2. So this also I had shown you in the previous example, but still a uh, so this will give me uh, entries from the data frame where this condition is true, right? And if I make it C1 C2, it will only give me two records, C1 and C2. Now here is the important thing. You can also combine more than one condition together. So if you will see, I have put this and this condition. So on two columns I can apply this condition of this column C1 and C2 being greater than 0, and from there I am going to, so for example, let's say what I will do is, let me try to run this program. Let me print off I'll say print off df3, right? And then if I come down here, I'm displaying df3 with and condition, right? So let's see what comes out of this program for us. So right click, run. Now this is your I'm saying what, C1 and C2, all the columns which are greater than 0, right? So I have this one, and this one, right? But actually because of C1 only this one and this one is written, R1 and R5, because this is less than 0, it is a negative number, right? It is C1 and C2. So first I'm looking at C2. So because of C2 I'll get this, right? So in both the cases it is greater. This will fail because this is what you say, less than, and this one is both greater. So I get R1 and R5. Similarly, I can use OR as well. If you want to do OR of this condition, right click, run as. So here now, so this is true. This is there anything? No, none of them is having all in both the case. One is positive, one is positive, one is positive, one is positive, right? At least one of them is positive. So now I'm getting all the rows out of this because of the OR condition. Okay, so this is how you can basically apply multiple conditions. And as you can see, in some time I'll show you that how you can read data from a CSV file, and having read the data from CSV file, you can do so many operations to process data and work on the data, right? So let me share this code with you. Okay, so next thing which we are going to look at is how we reset the how we make use of index reset index in pandas. So I will remove this code for time being, and this is a data frame which I have created. Right now let's run this. So I have rows and columns, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say reset. So I'll say df3 dot res reset index. Okay, and that's all. I'm not going to do anything, and I'll store that value in df3 underscore reset equal to, and then let me go and print that. Print off, I'll say print off this particular entry which I have just created here, right? And print, right? So let's try to run this program. Run, and let's see what is the output I'm getting. So you will see that the indexing which was initially R1, R2, R3, right? This is how the row indexing was, or the rows were. They had been reset to 0, 1, 2, 3. What I mean by that is, let's say if I try to say uh, dot ILOC, right? If I access 0, what would it, what will it give me? We have seen just now how to access the rows of a particular data frame, right? So let's right click and run this. So now I can access the entries with index 0 also, right? So entries are, these are the entries which were actually part of my row 1, right? If I were not to, if I do not do the reset here, then I cannot access it. I mean, I still had iLock, but it would not have those indexes assigned to it, 0, 1, 2, 3, right? So this is how we can reset the indexes, and by default access is 0, means we are doing it for the x-axis, right? So quickly try this program and then we'll look at how we do it for the other types also. So one thing, if you have noted here, that when I reset it, I have index and R1 as an output of iLock 0, right? Meaning that this particular becomes a column also for you, for that existing data frame, right? Earlier if you look at, this was my original data frame, and iLock displayed 0th row for me, which was basically this row, the content of this row, right? With value from C1 to C4, right? This is C1 to C4. But when I did reset, the output changes to like this data frame, right? And now when I'm accessing iLock with 0, it is giving me what? All these entries, right? So R1, this, with the index also being part of that column, which was initially treated as the real or the original index or the row of that particular data frame, right? So this is how we can do reset with the help of this particular method. Okay, so let's continue further. So basically then there is one more option available for you, and I will not get into this, you can try it yourself. uh, in place is there, right? In place is an option wherein it will modify the actual data frame, right? Now one interesting thing which I want to try is, I hope, okay, so this is my data frame. Okay, and if I say data frame dot price, I'm adding a new column with these entries, right? Yes. Now this is a beauty of, I should say, okay, let me do step by step so that you can appreciate the the changes which I am doing. Okay, so let me first of all create a data frame, and let's run this code. So I'll get to see 5 rows, 4 columns. Right click, run. 5 rows, 4 columns, right? Now what I'm doing is I'm adding one more column with a price here. This we have already seen, we can do that, right? So what will happen, there will be additional price column will be created with these entries. So run, and this is what I get here. So I have one more price column created. Now this is a very powerful feature of data frame, that you can say set index with price, right? So instead of, so let's see what happens. Right click, run. Right, so do you see the indexes has become as price now? So you can access the entries of this with lock of INR USD, right? So as we started in the beginning with the discussion that what to say, that the it's a matrix with labels, right? So you can have your own custom labels, and that makes it more readable and understand data and easy to manipulate, right? So please try this program also. Okay, so we'll look at how to perform drop operation. Now, let me first of all display this content of a data frame which has np.nan. Nan is not a number, right? I'm taking this from NumPy module which I've imported here. So let's first run this program and see what comes out of it. So as you will see, I have a record with NaN, NaN and NaN, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to display df drop na, right? So I'm dropping the na entries from that particular what you say data frame which is there. So first of all, I'm not doing it uh, I'm not doing it in place. I'm removing the in place, right click, run. So let's see what is the output. This is the output. Because I'm displaying after that again I'm displaying df, I'm seeing the values again, right? Why? Because it is not in place. If I say like this, then this df will also will get updated. So this is something which we understand, right? Now let me rerun it, run again. So here you will see that it goes away from the original data frame as well, right? Now for the time being, let me comment this also, and let me comment this. Now I'm going to say I am going to say drop NA, and then I'll say AXES equal to 1, right? So let's right click and run this program and see the output. Sorry, it is AXIS, not AXES. So if I right click and run this program, so this is my original, right? So this way I can choose to basically drop the nulls from the axis 1, which is my call, right? Now let's try one more thing, and then here I'll say th threshold equal to 2. Okay, so if I run this program, okay, now I will not display any of this for the time being. So thresh is 2. So I will it will delete the entries from the what you say from that data frame from columns, right? And with a threshold as 2. 2 meaning that there should be at least 2 entries which are not null for me, right? So it has retained this, right? Although NaN is there, but it has retained it for me, right? If I make threshold as 3, let's see what happens. Then I'm left out with only only the entry which has no NaN, right? So threshold means at least so many of not NaN should be there. So again, if I run it, this is the output I get, right? So can you please try this program? Okay, next is fill. Now fill, I'll not write the whole program. Fill, what it does is basically it fills NaN with some values for you. Okay, so if I try to right click, so initially my data frame will be displayed, then I'm filling it with this particular string. In next one I'm filling with this particular string, and in this one I am finding a mean of data frame A, column A, taking the mean of those values, and then I'm filling it with those values. Okay, now there are a lot of things you can play around with. I mean, it's a very powerful what you say. So initially this is how it was. In the place of NaN I have my filling, right? In the second one I have uh, I'm saying only for the column A, fill nulls with series, or for the column A, fill the value is that it is a mean of, right? So what is mean of A1 plus 2 is 1.5, right? So this is how you can do filling of that particular. I mean, for example, if you're working on some mathematical operation on data frames and you want to make sure that your null is holding maybe 0 value also, you can do that as well. Okay, so for example, I can explicitly say value equal to 0 maybe, right? So like this you can try a lot of things with entering values in NaN. Please try it out. Okay. Okay, so what is group by? Group by is basically a concept where you group together similar items. Uh, so let me explain that to you. What is group by is basically if you go to what is meant by group by is that I'll just run a simple query to understand this. Okay, so try yourself. This is an example. So if I run, so you will see that the record which comes back is a group put together. So for country, the count is 3. So they are grouped together by country, by Argentina, Austria, Belgium, right? So this is how grouping works. So let me first of all run this program and see what is the outcome of this one. So you will see that I have a data frame with 2 Google here, 2 MSFT and 2 FP entries, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a data frame where I'll say group by data frame underscore group underscore by equal to, I'll say df dot group by, and I'll give it grouping by company, right? So let me go ahead and display this value, print of, I will copy and paste it here, and I will also put this one here, print. Fine. So let's see what is the output of this one. So you will see this is some object which is there, right? So this is a data frame group by object, right? Now let's now let me perform some operations on this object which I have created. So first of all, I am going to say mean. Okay, so I'll say mean, and then I'll say dot of m n. Okay, now if I run this, what will happen is that it will group together entries by company and take a mean of that and display that for me. So right, so if I run this program, let's see what happens. So Google it will add this and this, right? Google, so it is 220 divided by, sorry, 320 divided by 2 is 160, right? And another beauty you will observe is that if it could not add person and take mean of that, it has ignored that, right? So this is how basically group by works. So let's try a few more examples and then I'll share this with you. So there is a sum option also available here. So let's see sum, and it will sum the entries for Google together, FB together, right? So let's run this program, right? So it has added Google, this is 320, right? Then MSFT, like this it will do, right? Similarly, it will also find you max and min as well. So let's say if I say here MAX and then MAX, right? Run. So you get max of that. Fine. So can you please try this program? So let me add two more operations. You can do a lot of them, but I'll add one method as describe. Okay, so if I add describe here, DSCRIB, let's see what it gives me. I'm running this program, and you will see that all the possible things which are available in this particular object, that you can do standard deviation, min is there, mean is there, 25 percentile is there, 75 percentile is there, right? So this is how it is displayed as a, as columns being company and the row being the possible operations, right? You can even perform a transpose on this. So you can say TRANSPOSE. So I'll copy that and I will put it here, right? And if I run this program, you will see that it shows as company in a row, right? And the rest of the entries, sorry, yeah. So now the company is this showing here as a row. Earlier it was a column here, right? So this is how we can make use of a transpose. So basically, you could have performed transpose on a regular data frame as well, right? So these are few of other methods which you can try on the data frame.